I've seen a whole spectrum of response. On one end, you have the response that this doesn't affect us. This has nothing to do with us. This is just a small group of folks coming in. And yet you also have, with the current crisis on the other end, the response that sees this as a huge threat to Europe. But you also have a response that sees this as a huge opportunity for Europe and for the church, particularly in Europe. And so you see this whole spectrum of response. I'm living in northern France and working with refugees there in Calais and in that area. And the number of volunteers that have shown up, and we can see that happening in other countries. We've seen just a lot of compassion that people have shown from churches as well as from outside of churches, and it's often you can't say churches are responding only and the state is only responding. It's the whole gamut, the whole spectrum of people are responding. And what's really neat is when churches get it and when they begin to respond and they see how this is crucial for them. So, for example, in Lille, where I am, there is a church that was approached by the community to help out with some of the minors living on the street in their area. And so they opened their doors for the refugees to come in and sleep at night. And each night they would come and be in the church and sleep. And then in the daytime they would go back out on the streets. And the church continued this ministry over a year. And through their example, other churches began to get involved, and people began to have a sense of purpose, and began to identify this is what God has called us to in regards to this one particular situation. And so it really gave the church a renewed sense of their vision, of their purpose, and it pulled churches together. They were working together on these issues, and so some were able to help with some of the hosting. Others were involved in helping to cook meals for the refugees at different times when some of the other services were closed. And so they were just really engaging on the issue, and there was a renewed sense of purpose. But the other thing, it gave the church a witness in the community. And so other folks not involved in the church saw the church engage like this on this hugely social issue, impacting all of society. And for the first time, they noticed the church. And so they began actually also working with the church, helping out in different ways on this issue. Because this issue is so large, it's more than, we have to work together. It's a global issue, it needs a global response, and the church is part of this. And I think the church needs to see this as, see their part as a crucial, important part, an important avenue, important window that God is sort of entering into the melee, into the fray, and the church is a real important vehicle for that.